My name is Christian Basel. Years ago, I had an idea. I got myself a TARDIS. Took it to new places, met a lot of new people, took some great pictures, and talked Doctor Who. From Krypton Radio and the creators of the Hanging With web show, this is the legend of the Traveling Tardis. Join me on my latest adventures and become part of the legend.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome, fellow Whovians, to the Legend of the Traveling Tardis radio show. My name is Christian Basel. I want to welcome you all back. For those of you joining us on iHeart, iTunes, Spotify, Spreaker, wherever you're listening into us to the known Whoniverse, thank you for joining us. And for those of you just joining us, welcome. We hope you enjoy the ride here. My name, again, is Christian Basel, and I am the pilot and the creator of the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS radio show and the TARDIS himself. Well, I didn't build the thing, but we're going to be talking about toys. This is our second edition of our episodes that are talking based upon toys, and we have a very special guest tonight. But before we continue, let me bring on my fellow panelists who are going to be helping with the interview tonight. There, first of all, we have artist Melanie Dean. How you doing there, Melanie?
Hello, Christian. Hello, everybody. Thank you for listening in. And as we deep dive back into my favorite subject in the world, toys.
Boys and their toys, but girls and their toys too. There we go. And we have author Mackenzie Flohr, better known as the author for Right of Wands. How are you doing there, Mackenzie?
Hey, busy. I feel like a member of the show today because I've done nothing but meetings. Yay!
Yay! Nice. Hey, join the crowd there. And we have a wonderful and special guest tonight, all the way from the UK himself. He is better known, and I want to make sure I get this right. This is our new friend, Ian O'Time Lord.
That's me.
Ian O'Time Lord. So you're Irish?
Yes, descent.
Descent, okay. I'm not holding that against you. I'm cool about that part Irish as well.
Ian O'Time Lord is my username, but my real name is Ian O'Brien.
There you go. Mr. Ian O'Brien, or better known as Ian O'Time Lord. And he is a man who has been rewarded by, of all things, the Guinness Book of World Records. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the years are 2015 and 2017 for having the most... No, I got it wrong. Which years did I get?
2013 and 2015.
I'm sorry, I apologize. 2013 and 2015.
Start looking up there behind me. Make sure I'm right. Yeah, 2013 and 2015.
For the most Doctor Who toys. And I would probably be going to your house if it wasn't so expensive. I would probably have to, by the same amount of money that I would spend on getting all the toys in your house, I would probably spend on a round-trip ticket going to and from the States there. So welcome there. And first of all, I think we're going to be doing the Who Knew News. Is that correct?
We can, if you have any news. This is going to be a little bit more of a free-flowing type of show because, unfortunately, our very own sage, Ia, is not here to do the Who Knew News. So if anyone else has some Who Knew News to bring it on up.
Well, one of the things I wanted to bring up that was part of the Who Knew News tonight, which is a big concern of mine, was an article. I believe that Christopher Eccleston is writing a book, and all this information you can find out on the Legend of the Traveling Tardis.com. Our website is going to be premiering next month in October, so please check it out there. If you have any ideas that you would like to bring to us, check out the website, the Legend of the Traveling Tardis.com. We're going to be premiering it in October. We'll let you know the release date, but it is phenomenal. We have our teammates, of course, the Right of Wands writer, Mackenzie Flohr, and our good friend Gadget, who are creating the site as we speak. But Christopher Eccleston has a book called I Love the Bones of You. And he was also at, I think, what was it? He was in one of the conventions, Comic-Con, Rose Comic-Con,
yeah,
Rose City
Comic-Con.
Rose City Comic-Con, and he was discussing, wow, I mean, nothing held back there, sir. But his discussion that during the time he was filming Doctor Who, it was a lot of pressure on, coming back in retrospect, I don't blame him, because if you're really thinking about it, a TV show that has been off the air for so long, and you are the figure of its return, and everything is riding on you, with all the Whovians out there dating back from day one until that time, which was 2015? No, 20. I can't even remember.
2005.
2005. Thank you. 2005, and you are going to be the person that's going to bring this show back in hopes that you can do it. I think that puts a lot of pressure on you. And he's also dealing with the issue of he doesn't like his body. And simple anorexia. I felt bad for him, and I think a lot of how could that? What kind of psychosis? What kind of thought process are you going through when you are going to be the person who brings back, or be the person who puts Doctor Who on another wilderness phase? But I appreciate you, Chris. Thank you for bringing it back there. And if anybody wants to jump into this discussion, please let me know. I'm very, very.
I just think he was. What he said he was going through, because if you remember it, was it in Dalek, what's his name, Van Stratton, isn't it? When he was kind of like had him chained up and he was sort of like torturing him, and he was topless.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, which he didn't look anorexic then, but as he said, he's gone through most of his life off and on.
I do wonder if it's a matter of what we societally see as anorexia. We don't realize that it's also when you're thinking somebody that's very, very gaunt, that's very, very thin, that you see their bones, you have a picture in your mind when you hear that word. But it really also, it's about what your actual body type should look like. And even though maybe he just looks thin and slight and maybe in your mind well toned, that's anorexia. That's not the typical thing for his body, what his body needs to be at that time. So to Ian's point, him being, you see him without the shirt at that point, and then you kind of watch the episode now after we hear about his struggle with anorexia and go, what was he doing to get into that shape? And realize, oh my God, that this is mentally and physically just a huge toll, and it's a disease.
Not who was demanding anyway.
Absolutely.
So it's not just the man, but he's bringing this show back. And I can only imagine how much pressure you could be on when you're bringing something like this. It's almost like I'm going to be starring in the new Star Wars reboot movie, and
you're putting your career on the line. He was absolutely putting his career on the line. There was a panel I remember years back with Capaldi. I saw it in San Diego, where even he had brought up that he was indebted to Eccleston because he put his career on the line to get the show back going again.
And also, I like Christopher Eccleston. Some people give him flack, but I don't. Except that sometimes when over here. I don't know what it's like in the States, but when he goes to these cons and he's charging a fair amount for a picture, an autograph, I just think, what he said, there was a lot of bullying on the set, and that's why he left. But I like him. I thought he was an excellent Doctor. I mean, he kicked the show back. He had a hell of a job, as you said, to bring that show back. That was almost forgotten and laughed at.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah. And hey, Christian, do you have any other news to speak of?
Well, that was the one that I was more concerned about than anything else. And I just want to let people know because, unfortunately, Christopher felt he was getting close towards suicide. So if for some reason, if anybody in our audience feels that they're getting to this, to the state of nature, please reach out to somebody. I was given a number by our friend Gadget, National Suicide Prevention Lifeline, 1-800-273-8255. It's 24/7. If you need any help over there, please reach out to somebody. But yeah, I just feel so bad for Chris there. That
well, it's a topic that I think it warrants its own show. Honestly, which hopefully we have I believe that you will have slated so we can further talk more about the topic and give it its richly deserves.
Exactly. That way I can also discuss more about from Chris's perspective of what it's like having mental illness. It's for me as an artist, as a writer, I have to use my writing really to help me stay afloat because I do have mental illness. I suffer from ADPD, PTSD, and depression, and I, at one point, had been suicidal actually more than one time, and it's really because of Doctor Who is where I am still here.
What did you have something that you wanted to say there, Melanie? Did you? Oh, okay. No. Okay. Well, I meant.
Sorry.
Ian, go ahead. I'm sorry.
It's in the next series. I don't know what part he's playing, but Stephen Fry will be in it.
Yes, that is the case.
Yes, that he's supposed to be in
the premiere episode.
Your episode?
Yeah.
Yes, I saw that.
That's the only bit of news that's come out.
Yep, and then the Radio Times had mentioned something about Colin Baker being quote-unquote selfish, but then that's just the Radio Times taking a small word of mention in passing about him not filming a regeneration scene.
I don't blame him because what happened.
Yeah, absolutely.
If your employer
the same thing.
Can you come back for 5 minutes and do something? I think you would
Exactly.
say
I'm like, no. And then you realize,
Speaking of employers going out and doing something, we're going on a hard break at this moment here, and when we come back, fine, we got 2 minutes left before we go on.
I'm keeping track of time back here. It's like not a hard break. What are you talking? We got 2 minutes
Sorry,
now.
Sage.
The audience thinks that we were like, high tech, high technical or anything of that nature.
Ian, we're really a professional show, really.
We're a professional show?
Professionals, yeah.
When you see one, let me know. Anyway.
Still have 2 minutes. Keep
still
going.
have the 2 minutes.
Bam.
Well, keep going. Oh, my goodness. I'm going to keep going.
Well, apart from, which was publicised by the BBC, the Jaduna coming back, which was publicised by the BBC.
Yeah, we had that. We discussed that a while back over there.
And there's another, I assume you might have discussed it, I don't want to say it for spoilers, but there's another old monster coming back that was not officially said by the BBC, but people took pictures of them filming.
What? Can we discuss? What is it? We have 1 whole minute. What is it? And then go to commercial. What?
I said it. The Cybermen.
Yeah, you said it.
I didn't hear you. Sorry.
I know. Professional indeed. Well, we got 1 minute. So
just go to commercial. Good Lord. I promise you.
Come back. We're going to be talking more about that from our friend Ian, Time Lord, better known as Ian O'Brien, the man who was in 2013-2015 Guinness Book of World Record holding the most Doctor Who toys. I love this man already. If I ever come to the UK, I'm just going to spend the night at his house, maybe 2 or 3. And he might not even know that I'm spending the night. That's the crazy part about it. I said, Ian, I just want to stay in this room and play.
Yeah.
Well, we got to pay for some bills. So when we return, we're going to be talking more about boys and their toys. When we return, please stay tuned. Please stay along on and continue to become part of the legend.
Famous Faces and Funnies in Melbourne, Florida is leading the way in pop culture fun. From comic books and graphic novels to Funko Pops and collector's items, Famous Faces and Funnies has it all. Rick Shea and the professional team at Famous Faces and Funnies are friendly and knowledgeable. Whether you're looking for toys, props, collector treasures, or a new comic book, Famous Faces and Funnies is your one-stop shop. To find Famous Faces and Funnies on Facebook and Twitter, just type at FFF Comics.
Now on Amazon.com, ICoin from author Jeremy Mosby. It's an alternate reality, and the leader of the planet ICoin is none other than Benjamin Franklin. When corrupt officials threaten not only ICoin but the Earth as well, an unlikely chosen one, Jeremy, must face dark foes to save the Earth and ICoin alike. Author Jeremy Mosby takes readers on a superhero's adventure through this compelling and imaginative alternate universe. Get ICoin on Amazon.com today.
And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back to the Legend of the Traveling Tardis. My name is Christian Basel. Our panelists today are artiste Melanie Dean, our author-in-residence, Miss Mackenzie Flohr of the Right of Wands, and our special guest today is Ian Time Lord, better known as the man who has, in the Guinness Book of World Records in 2013-2015, the most Doctor Who toys ever. And you guys didn't get a chance because it's on the radio. We actually did a little Skype tour of Ian's house, and it is just magnificent. And he was just pointing out, I'm in just several Daleks, all the doctors. He's got this little thing on the shelf that has a little AstroTurf with all the TARDISes and all the different doctors and their different incarnations. And I'm just sitting here going like, God, if I only was a millionaire, I would come over and visit there. Ian, how did you become a Whovian? What was the catalyst that brought you into the world of Who?
Well, I would say thanks to my dear parents, because as far as I can remember, my earliest memories from when I was 5, which is Planet of the Daleks with John Pertwee. So it was like, as you know, it's a family show, so we sat down and watched it, and that's my earliest memory. And there's 2 bits I remember from it. The Daleks were using their plungers trying to bash down a barricade. Mm-hmm. And then the Doctor being in the lift, and the lift door would open and there'd be a Dalek on the other side. That's what I kind of remember. So it grew from then. And recently I came across an old sort of hand-drawn greetings card or something I did for my mum or dad, I can't remember who. And what did I draw? Doctor Who. At 5, I thought, God, even then I was obsessed with it. And
was it the Doctor or was it a TARDIS? What did you draw?
I think it was Tom Baker and the TARDIS or something, I think.
Awesome!
And grew. And I started collecting, and then I got, like, in the 70s, the Dennis Fisher stuff, some of them. And, yeah, it just grew from that. I just became a mad fan.
So game obsessed. Were the kids with you at the time? Were they were like Whovians in the schools with you as well? Or
there was a couple, but no one was like me. I mean, later on in my teens, I was laughed at because that's what Doctor Who became. We were laughed at. So, but I stuck with the show. I didn't care really what people thought. Sometimes I did, sometimes I didn't. But no, I stuck with the show. I mean. I just collected, and it just grew and grew and grew.
What was the first toy that you had that you still have?
Stole my question.
I think it's that nursery Dalek. Yes, it's a nursery Dalek. I know it doesn't make sense, but that's what it's known as. A Salcol was the company who made them in the 60s. A nursery Dalek.
Now, for people who are just listening on the radio, can you describe what a nursery Dalek looks like?
It's about 11 inches tall.
Uh-huh.
It's painted blue. It has the hemispheres are just painted on in silver, but there's just 3 rows at the front. Mm-hmm. So imagine just one at the left, one in the middle, and one on the right. And its eye stalk and the gun and arm are all orange.
Not your typical colors of the Dalek.
The coolest thing is... Sorry? The coolest thing is when you had kind of gave us a little tour beforehand. It was the color palette of that Dalek was so different because it wasn't done in typical like nursery pastels or something very light. But it wasn't like neon bright kind of garish looking either. But it was all typical. Like the blue is like. It's hard to describe with the blue and the orange in that it's very striking, especially with that particular Dalek on the shelf along with everything, all the other items. So it's not even like a TARDIS blue. It's lighter, but there's a depth to that tone where it's definitely not a pastel or something you would see that's Eastery or nursery-y, which I found very, very cool.
Because the neck rings are also painted silver.
Mm-hmm.
So, silver and orange and blue, you wouldn't think of those sort of colours to go together.
I'm just thinking it's a nursery Dalek. It's just like, oh, this is safe for the kids, because it's nicely colored here. Here, kids, here's a Dalek. It would be like having Missy as a babysitter for the kids. It's just like, she just talks about herself and tells us that she wants to eat bananas all day. That's a kind of craziness, but I love which toy are you most proud of? Which toy of all the collections that you have the most pride in what you got?
I suppose it's that one because it's the oldest piece I have. Mm-hmm. And it's one I'm very fond of because my parents are no longer with me, and that's from them when I was a kid. Mm-hmm. And I can tell you a story about it. I can remember when I got it. was in this sort of shop near where we lived, and it wasn't in a packaging. Original packaging, I've seen it later online, which is a clear plastic bag with a cardboard thing on the top. But I remember there was a Northern Irish lady, and she was looking for it, and she was asking her colleague where it was. And she wasn't saying the arms of the Daleks or its protuberances. Where's the horns of the Dalek?
The horns.
In a very strong accent. I always remember that. Where's the horns of the Dalek?
That's in the later episodes, kids. That's coming up.
An interesting fact about that, it needs ballast to keep it upright.
Really?
Yeah, because in the bottom is a hole to put ballast in, and you would put sand. So my mum put rice in the bottom of it.
Oh, that's a good idea. That way, any type of moisture get in it, the rice would take care of it. That's a brilliant idea. It's cheap. You're going to have it.
I never touched it because it's still in there, and it still stands up. If I ever get hungry, if we ever run out of food, I can always go to the Daleks.
You have your own little hurricane supply.
Yeah.
My Dalek has couscous.
But then, so I just collected over the years, and then of course, when the show, there wasn't many toys, you see, when I was growing up, you see, apart from the Dennis Fisher, and then there was just magazines and comics. One of the coolest things was, I still got them, I can't actually, I don't know where they are, but Golden Wonder Crisps, or Chips as you'd call them, did a selection in the 80s when Colin Baker was the Doctor of little mini comics in packs of crisps. So,
were they like that, like a mini comic that was like protected, like in cellophane, where you opened it up and had how many pages were they?
It was a proper colour little comic taken from.
Oh, really?
Magazine, yeah.
Wow.
They were about sort of like square, rectangular shape, small. Say about, if you're standing up, say about 4 or 5 inches in height, and each one came with a picture of from Colin Baker on the front of it, or a scene from a picture of him from Vengeance on Varus. Another one had Attack of the Cybermen on it, but it was stories from the Sixth Doctor comic strip, and also on the outside plastic packet of the outer packaging, it had artwork and Doctor Who on it.
Now, be honest. You ate the crisps, right? Or did you save them? They're still. Are they turning stale right now on your shelf?
No, I ate them. And then, of course, there was another thing that came out with Colin Baker, which I have in the cupboard, and it's one of my favourites. You asked me. It's a big mat, and it is all pictures. It's the Doctor and Perry land on a planet, and there's like Cybermen and Daleks and sort of humans, and they're all having a massive war, and the Master's in it. That's Anthony Ainley Master as well. It's a full colour mat.
So now I got to ask, who's your favorite Doctor?
Tom Baker.
Yeah, okay. Well, but you started with John Pertwee, right?
I started with Pertwee, yeah. He was my first memory. See, I don't remember all of his. I remember the Planet of the Daleks, and then, of course, the Green Death followed. I remember the Green Death, then the Time Warrior, the Dinosaur one, Invasion of Dinosaurs, I had no recollection of. I don't know if I've seen it or not. Death to the Daleks. No, I didn't remember seeing that. Monster of Peladon, maybe, with the ICoin. I think I did because Sarah was there.
Right.
I think, and of course I do remember Planet of the Spiders, bits of that, and of course the Regeneration. But it didn't upset me they say all kids get upset when their favorite Doctor. I don't think I was bothered. I didn't realise what was happening. I just thought, oh right, another Doctor's coming. And that was it.
Actually, Ian, you're kind of, I don't want to say a rare breed because I'm starting to see people like them, but usually when people's first Doctor, like Tom, like my favorite and my first is the same person, but yours was John, and then you like Tom later on, or Tom's your favorite.
Yeah, I know that's strange because usually your first is your favorite. Because Pertwee, I'd only remembered a few.
Oh, okay.
I seen from his very first moment in the Planet of the Spiders, when of course he appeared, and then from Robot through. And then I don't remember all of his. I don't know if we were away or something. I don't remember Underworld. That one, the CSO. I don't remember much of that one, and some of the Leela ones. I did watch it, but I don't remember all of them. Of course, Invasion of Time, but yeah, it was Tom that I watched.
Okay, so I get it. You got the tail end of John, but you got the full thing of Tom, and I think that's when your love and everything for Tom finally developed there. Well, wait a minute. Actually, Melanie, you were jumping in and saying something where your dad cut you off there.
Well, I was going to ask about when it comes to toys, are you the type of person that likes keeping them in box? Is that a particular thing, or you want them out of the box to be loved? Box. This is what you want. I'm looking for a toy.
Yeah, I don't want, because I think with me, this is what I think is why I love collecting them and put them away, because, as I said, when I grew up, and I of course got proper into Doctor Who by the time Tom left. So when Peter came in, so that was the 80s, I was in my teens. And I came to real understanding more of the show and what was going on and what I liked, what I didn't like. But there was no much toys. So now to get them, I don't want to stuff them in packets all around the place. I've got a few on the wall that I kept in packaging, and I have an on. But as soon as I got all these recent sets from the British store, B&M to review, I open them all up. I want to look at them. I want to feel them. I want to pose. I want to put them on display. I want to look at them. I want to enjoy them. I want to go to someone and say, "Oh, look, this is Tom from, say, Seeds of Doom."
And that was one of the things when you were showing us the collection before the show. Is just that for me, as someone who likes to collect toys, I love seeing when people like to take them out of the box. I get there's certain times that you want to keep them in the box and keep them happy and safe and all that fun stuff. But there's something to be said about displaying them, to really kind of be able to look and see the paint application and see that they look at the points of articulation. You can't see that inside of a package.
And another thing is, you see, with them out of the packaging, you see, so say for example, you call me mad or crazy, I don't care. I do mine in the season. So, like, in the summer, I like to have the Doctors in their sort of light clothes. So as we get into winter and Christmas, I will have Tom on display with his heavy burgundy outfit. And I feel sorry for Perry, though, because she's never got anything much to wear.
Well, folks, when we come back, we're on a hard break right now. When we come back, we're going to have more of a discussion with Ian O'Time Lord, 2013-2015 Guinness Book World Record of holding the most toys. And when we return, we're going to be talking more about them. When we come back, please continue to stay on and become part of the legend.
Joanne Fisher's The Spanish Doll. Secrets in Italy? Oh, yes. Her beauty strikes him like a thunderbolt sent by the goddess Venus. When Fiore is given a peculiar gift, a Spanish doll, she is thrown into a whirlwind of entangled passion, money, secrets, and love. Get swept away today by hanging with web show featured author Joanne Fisher's The Spanish Doll. Available now on Amazon.com.
At Xavier'sManifestThyWill.com. Do you crave solutions to your everyday problems? Get rich, find love, and become happy. Xavier, Master of the Dark Arts, may have the powers you need to prevail. Don't give up because other spellcasters have failed you. At Xavier'sManifestThyWill.com. Life does not have to be as hard as you see it. Xavier, an astrologist and psychic, carries out rituals and casts spells conscientiously, and he has the power to prevail in situations deemed impossible by other spellcasters. At ManifestThyWill.com, see for yourself the difference real magic can make. Go to ManifestThyWill.com today.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Christian Basel, the host of the Legend of the Traveling Tardis radio show. I'm here with artiste Melanie Dean. I'm here with author Mackenzie Flohr, and I'm here with our special guest today, Time Lord. Well, I got it backwards.
That's so Time Lord to you.
I'm going to say it in my worst Irish accent. What do you have? We have Ian, or Time Lord, on our show today. Don't you know?
What planet is that from?
What's that?
What planet are you from?
We call it
You
Flohr.
said, don't you know? You went Minnesota. You literally went, don't you know? And I went,
They're not Irish people in Minnesota? Come on.
No. Go to Canada.
Okay.
Send him to Scaro. That's what
Oh, great. Well, welcome to the planet Florida. My name is Christian Basel, and we're here with our special guest, 2013-2015 Guinness Book World Record holder of the most Doctor Who toys, Mr. Ian O'Timelord, or Mr. Ian O'Brien.
Hello.
Welcome back there. Now, I just have a question, and Melanie was throwing in it. You have to play with the toys. You have to go in there and fiddle around a bit. But I got to tell you something. If my 45-year-old self could go back in time to my my 13 to 15-year-old self, and he started opening the Star Wars action figures and opening up the Transformer boxes, I would have said, kid, trust, leave it in the box.
Yeah.
Make sure it's in a dry place. I will thank you later for doing that.
Yeah, I would agree with you on the Star Wars original figures. I have them all, but loose. I don't have many Star Wars stuff left, but I've kept them. I recently sold some just the other day because they were just, I'm more into Doctor Who now, and they were just gathering dust in the bedroom. And then I don't bother with them, so they were in the boxes. I thought, no, I don't need them anymore. Doctor Who's my thing.
Oh, no. It's not that. It's just that if I know how much...
I see, I was lucky. I mean, my Dennis Fisher stuff, now the Tom Baker I got, of course, later on, another one to replace my, before the original one fell apart, and I have that in the box, although the box is battered, but it's still in the box at the TARDIS. I have one in the box. I managed to get it, second hand. It's not in mint, but it's near mint. And the Leela is all complete there as well.
No, what I was saying is that when my parents were buying them at like $30, little did I know that amount would multiply by 5 times, or add 3 more zeros to the end of that, and that's what the value would be now.
May I tell you a crazy story?
Absolutely, yeah.
This is the most recent set. They've just come out in the last month. The B&M sets the 5th Doctor's TARDIS, the 4th Doctor's TARDIS. And this has angered a lot of people and annoyed them as well. For example, the 2 TARDISes, scalpers got them and put them on eBay, and they retail at £19.99. They were selling them on eBay at £89.99.
What?
Good grief.
Now, Big Finish did the 3 Dalek sets with the War Doctor, the 8th Doctor from Dark Eyes, and the 7th Doctor in his movie costume, which 3 various Daleks. But the Big Finish one's slightly different than the B&M ones, a bit more dirtied up and a bit more weathered. So they sold out very fast, and then they appeared on eBay, and people were charging like £400 a set. They didn't sell for that, but they went for about £145 in the end. I thought whoever bought that is absolutely off their rocker. So I was saying to people, look, if you missed out the Big Finish sets from Big Finish, don't worry, because the only difference is they're just a bit weathered, and the iris of the Dalek is blue in the B&M ones, white in Big Finish. That's the only difference. You're still going to get them, so don't waste your money. Be patient.
Because there's some people who I know that are just completionists. They have to have every single release that was done. They have to have a mint and package. They're the type that, and me and my husband were this type, where we were looking at going to stores and we were looking at alternate figures. Well, if there was an alternate paint job, if there was an alternate of something else. This was like back when we were crazily into like collecting toys and whatnot. So I can see where and the bad thing is, now that the release dates come out, you have people who go into these stores to buy them up just to get them onto the secondary market, to do what Ian mentioned and mark up a $19 figure up to $89. Yeah. But even then, there's a time, and then there's supply and demand, but also there's a necessity of time to it, where if you just like to use, just wait. Because sometimes you'll realize that they ran out, bought all these figures, and they put them on eBay, and no one's buying them because no one really wanted that. They're trying to be the person. They're trying to sell to that person who has to have it first.
Yeah, because that happened once before. I remember in 2013, Toys R Us over here did a set of Doctor and Dalek figures. They're exclusive. So they did a Pertwee one from Planet of the Daleks, him in his purple jacket, and a semi-transparent Dalek. Now that one, there wasn't many coming in, so to get one was very difficult for a while because they were slow coming in the store and they were selling for a fortune. And I remember a friend of mine, he bought a couple of them and he was going to sell one on, which I don't mind if someone buys one and sells it on, but not when they buy, I mean, tons. Mm-hmm. But then, I tell you, within 24 hours, the price just dropped because they became more available.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Mm-hmm. He got it, we returned it and got his money back from the store, but that's it. The figures then become now, you go into the stores and they're all in there. But for the last few weeks, there were dribs and drabs getting into which store and they're not in this store and people are trying to buy them, but people are going in and buying them up and then trying to flog them on. And then you get these, pardon my language, a-holes, I would say, but boast about them then. So look what I've got. And they put, they've got display hundreds of them. They put photos just to wind people up.
Yeah.
You say, don't buy from the scalpers. Even Character Options put out a statement says, look, there's plenty around. Don't worry. Because they learnt their lesson from last year when they did a John Pertwee TARDIS. I don't think they thought it would be such a demand, and they sold out very fast, and they were going for a fortune. So then they did a Tom Baker one early this year, and they're more available. It's just about as you say, yes, you want them, but please don't buy off these people.
Yeah, and I think manufacturers have become a lot more savvy to that as well. That there's a lot to be said when you're in a manufacturing world and you're doing your forecasting from a complete business side. But a lot of those people have now become savvy to people who are in the toy market, either buying them for their kids, they're buying them for themselves, they're buying them for the collectibles. Collectors, they know that they have all these little subgenres within the market. So that's not like a toy manufacturer is making only 4 of these toys known to man. They're making sure that they've got the quantities, that there is the supply. So you don't have to worry about, again, to your point, just wait.
They don't become Cabbage Patch dolls. And you've seen what they do to those people in the States.
The UK fan and collector, my heart goes out to all you American fans who want the sets, because I know you've ended up sometimes with exclusives we haven't got, and my heart goes out to you because I wish you could get them. And I've had to say this to people, say, well, why can't the character put them on their website? Because B&M have paid for them, and it's their exclusive. And it's to put it this way, I say, if you want to blame someone, maybe the BBC for lack of a series. Mm-hmm. Because, or if they even put the classic one on, there might be a bit more demand. So other retailers would be investing in it.
When you're purchasing toys and you're purchasing things, I'm sure that you're looking at different websites and whatever to do your research of what's coming out. Where do you usually purchase them? Right at a store, a specific store? Because, in the U.S., we're not going to really know the stores over the U.K.
At the moment, it's only B&M, which is is a bargain store, are the only ones doing these sets. Quick rundown, as I said, last year we had the Third Doctor's TARDIS, we had Capaldi in red jacket, we had an update on Missy, we had Oswin again, and then they also did a 70 set which contained an Auton from Terror of the Autons, Tom Baker from Talons of Wayne Chiang, and the Brigadier from the early Pertwee stories in the 70s in his beige outfit. So, again, through B&M, because the only other places that would stock them is a place called Argos, which is a catalogue shop. But they only do the modern ones. So they've done, I think, the 13th Doctor and her sonic screwdriver. Mm-hmm. But very few shops that will stock Doctor Who toys now. It's only B&M that do it because they're exclusives. And they're obviously selling, so they want to keep on investing.
And they're literally a brick and mortar store that you could go in and look?
Yeah, they don't do, the thing is though, they don't do shopping online. They don't do online sales, mail order, anything like that. You have to go to the store to buy them. So, yeah, they're the only people that really are doing them at the moment.
I got a question. What toy would you like them to make that they have not made yet, Doctor Who-wise?
Can I say more than one?
Absolutely.
First of all, I know they've done one already, but I want the Anthony Ainley Master in his proper outfit.
Yes.
and also a nice classic console room.
Ooh, I like that idea. Yeah.
Can anyone guess what season I want it from, though?
Classic.
It's from Tom Baker.
Did they? And I was about to say, did they ever make? I know you're talking about the wood panel one. Is that the one that you're talking about?
That's not the one I want.
Oh, okay. Then I'm missing it. Which one? I've lost.
It's the one from his final year, like the Legopolis type one. I always like that one.
I did. Yeah, I've never ever seen that except for like in the show. Oh, that was cool.
I'd love them to make that one. And more companions. Like I'd love to see Tegan.
Oh yes.
In a rare hostess outfit, but with two heads, one with the hat and one without the hat. Well, Tegan, Nissa, and Adric actually, because that would go with the end of Tom and also Peter. So you would, match up.
Have they done the? I don't know. Anybody can answer this. Have they done the companions for Jodie's time, or have they just done Jodie's?
I'll due next year. They are doing a TARDIS of hers. They have to. But it was said recently at the Manchester Comic Con called Vorp that it would be a classic TARDIS they would do, but with a stacked roof. Again, it's down to budget and that.
Right.
Things are a lot more expensive than they were when the show came back in 2005. So,
speaking of coming back, when we return, I love my segues when they actually work. When we return, we're going to be talking more to our friend Ian, Time Lord, more about his toys and his history, and further more information about toys in general. When we return to the Legend of the Traveling Tardis, please continue to listen and become part of the legend.
Alien invaders enslave Earth,
unleashing hunters into the ruined wastes.
One young survivor struggles to elude their monsters, clinging to hope.
When he's stolen off the planet by a sarcastic starship AI, they pit their uneasy alliance against a treacherous galaxy.
Explore a whole new verse of barbarism and betrayal.
Wonder and adventure.
In the Scion series
by Michael J. Allen.
Beginning with Book 1, Scion Conquered Earth.
Available in print, ebook, and audio on Amazon.com.
The Planetary Alliance has fallen, replaced by the conglomerate.
Governed by the universe's most powerful corporation.
One planet stands alone.
Earth.
Captain Reginald Epsilon and his ship, the Stingray.
A new prototype warship that took a decade of research and development refused to recognize his new commander.
And he disappeared in the blink of an eye.
An all-out
manhunt for Epsilon and the Stingray was on. The ruthless Admiral Roth uses Epsilon's executive officer, the stunning Lieutenant Jesse Smythe.
And her little sister Maggie has pawned in his brutal game of cat and mouse.
Can Epsilon save Maggie?
And prevent the most powerful warship in the universe from falling into corrupt hands?
Hands hell-bent on destroying Earth? Find out in Stingray You Can't Hide Forever.
On Amazon.com.
And ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Legend of the Traveling Tardis radio show. My name is Christian Basel, the host of this show. My co-host today will be artist Melanie Dean and author Mackenzie Flohr. And I know Mackenzie has had a few questions. We've been pushing her out of the interview.
I'm so sorry, y'all.
Sorry, Mackenzie. I know she's had a few questions.
I feel like
like boys and their toys. We got to talk here.
So, say, Melanie, shut up. I'm like,
kids and their toys,
Remember, we're a professional podcast and radio show out here. Mackenzie, you have the floor. Go for it.
So I really want to know about this Guinness World Record type of thing. What do you have to do to actually get? How do you apply for that, or how does that work?
Well, how it worked was I didn't do anything. I was just here one day, and I was on a Doctor Who forum I used to be on, and I had a private message, and it was, "Hi Ian, this is such and such from Guinness World Records." I thought, right, I thought, because I'm always suspicious, thinking is this a scam or something, and I read more, and this is my email or whatever it was. I think, yeah, and contact them. So I did, and then she said they found out about my collections and wanted me to enter into the Guinness Book of Records. I thought, fine. And then it wasn't fun to do, I will confess, because it was like stock taking, but in your own home.
Oh, no.
So basically, I had to count every single Doctor Who item I owned at the time. Then I had to, of course, put it onto a spreadsheet. But then I had to call in a friend, because then not only that, I had to photograph every single item.
Oh my
God!
No.
You think about, like, now the thing is, the rules are you can't have duplicates. So if you've got, say, 2 Tom Bakers or 2 Peter Davisons or whoever, as long as they're a bit different, so even if you say you got one without the celery and one with celery, that's different. But when I had Doctor Who magazines, yes, I listed them down as number 102, 103, whatever, but then I had to kind of sometimes think of put a description so they would know it's different. And then the biggest pain was stickers from like a sticker album. How on earth do you list stickers down? Because you can put number 1 sticker, number 2 sticker, but how do you know it's different? So I had to put the Doctor from, say, Tooth and Claw, Rose from Parting of the Waves, for example.
It sounds like a headache.
And that one of
this figure counts as 5.
It's almost like anyone that's worked in retail and had to find out that you're doing inventory and you're having to go through and count everything, except now you have to take pictures of everything, and now there's Excel spreadsheets involved. Ian, I'm so sorry.
And then send it all off and hopefully that it all checks out. And then the second time I did it, they came back to me again, wanted an update, and they found there were some duplicates from the last time which I had to go and double check on. And I did, and then I had more stuff. Even after doing all that, there was stuff I'd missed out. I haven't kept the spreadsheet updated, I'm afraid. I went through a phase, not getting rid of stuff, but because I only live in a small flat and I don't have the space, I had to thin it out. So I got rid of a lot of New Who stuff, not because I don't like it, but these were like board games and that I would never play. I've got tons of them. So, and books and books and books. And I thought, well, I'm never going to read these ones. But if it's got Daleks and Cybermen in, I will keep them. Mm-hmm. Anything with Daleks in, I like. So I keep any books that's got Daleks in. So I just thin them out. But with the annuals, I buy them. I've got every one, including the last year's one with Jodie Whittaker in. So I have all the annuals. I still buy them. I still collect them. Except I'm missing the golden one, which is the pink John Pertwee one from, I think, 1970, which is like the holy grail of the annuals.
Well, speaking of holy annuals, what about I know you have a YouTube channel where you have gotten products before and been able to talk about them. How'd that all start up?
Oh, well, I started that one years ago, but that was just nothing to do with Doctor Who. I used to do silly videos. There's a few on there, like not Doctor Who related, but have you ever heard of the comedy show Father Ted?
Yes.
Well, I once did. I just put on a shawl that was my mum's, and I mimed to a Mrs. Doyle once, and I don't know how it's just got so many views that has. I just mimed to it. At the end of it, I drink a drop of brandy, and I said, "That's not." I said, "Cheers," or something like that. I said, and that's just got, I think, over 1,000 views or something. Oh, I don't know how last time I looked, but that's where it started off, just doing silly videos and mimes and that. And then I did an odd review, and that was it. And then just over the last few years, when I started getting a few things to review, I did it properly. Now, I don't have all fancy graphics. I don't have a camera. I'm not very technical minded, so mine are pretty basic. So I just use my phone camera. But one thing I noticed on reviews that used to drive me up the wall, you talk about keeping them in packaging and that. So someone gets a box, and they hold the box up like, this is the box, this is the figure in the box, and this is what it says, Doctor Who, whatever, TARDIS. But they go through the writing on it, then they go through the copyright on it, then they go through the manufacturer's address, and then they go through, look at the barcode on it. And I'm going, well, you just open the blinking box. I want to see what it looks like. I don't know that box. So I go, right, this is the box, this is the front, this is the size, this is the side, this is the back. There you go, this is the box. Open it up, there's the figures. This is the 7th Doctor, and this is how it compares to the first release, or this is the brand new release, and this is the Dalek. And it arms, people know it moves up and down, so I just say, this is it, this is the detail and what I think of it. And that's my review, straightforward. I don't go spending about half an hour reading a box. Because that's too boring.
It does sound like it would be quite a little bit time consuming that way. Some of the things, I don't know if you keep out there, if you guys are as much as about getting toys signed by actors as we are out here. It seems like every time I go to a convention, someone has this big giant box with their toy in there, and then they have to take it out, take it for the actor, and then they sign it. If you were potentially going to have any of your toys to be signed by an actor, who would it be, and what item would it be?
Well, I have actually. I have 2 toys actually signed by the same actress, actually, which is the original Dennis Fisher Leela doll, signed by Louise Jameson. When she did, she said, should I put my name on it? And I said, oh, yeah, because I wasn't going to sell it just for me. And then I have the retro release, the Biff Bang Pow, Leela, also signed by her. And that's the only 2 of toys that I have signed by anyone. I have other things signed by different Doctor Who actors, but yeah, they're the only 2 toys. I mean, I would love to have Tom Baker sign something, but he's very difficult to meet because it's only sort of down London he attends nowadays. Well, he's 83, I think, now, or 84.
He's getting up there.
What is your next toy on the horizon that you're looking out to get, that you saw on the shelf and got, I'm going to get that as soon as I can get the funds for that? That is mine.
It's not new as such. Well, it's new, but I want to get into doing some customs. No, I've never done them before. All I do is, you might have seen it earlier, I swap heads. I take a head off something and I put it on one, and that'll be it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I did a Pertwee. Has all of you seen John Pertwee's first story, Spearhead from Space?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you know it's only for a few seconds where the TARDIS lands and he falls out of it, and he's in Troughton's costume.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to do a custom of that, but I did years ago. All I did was put Pertwee's head on Troughton's body, but it didn't look right because it was Troughton being small.
Mm-hmm.
So I originally was talking to someone, and then I had an idea because I had a few broken figures. So I'm in the process of making it proper. So I put Pertwee's legs onto a Troughton body. With boots. I just paint over the boots, and I've got Pertwee's head on it. So now I've got the paint, just got the paint yesterday. I'm going to paint the trousers, and so it will look more accurate. And then I want to buy which is a new one from B&M stores. Now B&M over here are a bargain store, and they're the ones doing the Doctor Who figures at the moment. There's a set they've just released called The Two Doctors, which is Patrick Troughton with red eyebrows, as an Androgum from The Two Doctors.
Androgum, yeah.
Perry from The Two Doctors, and Sontar and Stike. Now, I want to get one of them, buy one, because I would like to paint Troughton's hair black and his eyebrows black, because I just think the trousers look more like what he wore than just one of the early Troughton releases. And also keep the Perry for maybe do a future custom with her or something.
Were the trousers in that like a checkered pattern or a striped pattern?
Yes.
Or they're harder to paint, basically?
Yeah, it'd be hard. Yeah, some might be able to do it, but I don't know where you'd start or how you would do it, and I wouldn't have the steady hand, I don't think, to do that. But I want, and as for the Sontar, I might sell that on. Probably will, because I've already got one and I don't need another. I know you can army build, but sometimes you put a helmet on and they all look alike. But it's like Daleks you army build with, because several stories they might have all bronze, all grey, or whatever. So that's the next set I want to buy, because there isn't nothing much out there. There is, although I will confess I am not a fan of the 13th Doctor. I would like the 10-inch doll of her, but I just think $19.99 is a bit much to pay. I think maybe I'm being stingy, but I don't want to pay that, so I'll wait till it goes down. Probably in the New Year sales, it'll probably go down to half price.
Yeah, probably.
No, never be stingy, because I remember we did an interview with Nick Briggs, and
Yes.
we were talking about Big Finish, and Nick was going like, "Oh, you've got that? Oh, you've heard that one?" And he said, "Nick, if I ever come to the point where I've bought every Big Finish, I won't have a house to call my own at the end of the day, nor food, nor anything. I'll just be on a corner somewhere with a big pile of Big Finish audios. Homeless, but built with a home full of Big Finish audios down there." I'm going to go back just a little bit, Ian, just for our audience who may not be familiar, especially in the States. Can you tell us a little bit about David Fisher and B&M? We know they're toy manufacturers, but can you give them a little bit more detail about that? Thank you.
Did you say David Fisher?
Did I say David Fisher?
Dennis.
It's Dennis.
Dennis Fisher.
Spelled Denys.
Oh, okay. Dennis, I apologize.
They were a big toy manufacturer in the 70s over here. So they produce a lot of toys and figures. So I'll give you history, Doctor. So they produce sort of like, I suppose, 6-7 inch figures of all sorts of things, like from kids shows like Planet of the Apes. There was Superman, there was Batman, Robin. I think there was a Spider-Man they did. I think it was them, or am I getting confused? No, I'm sure it was them. Yeah, and then they also did Doctor Who. Mego also did them in the States. So they did a TARDIS. Now, the TARDIS they did is about, it was about 13 inches or 14 inches high. It's basically cardboard and plastic with a spinning lamp on top. Now, what you did is with that one is inside it was a round cylinder. So you stick your Tom Baker figure in, and there'd be a bit of Velcro in the cylinder, which would hold his jacket into place. Shut the doors, spin the lamp, and press the red button on the top. It's a red and green button. When you press the red button, you'd open the doors, he'd be gone. He'd be disappeared. Shut the doors, spin the lamp, press the green button, he's back again. They produced a Cyberman, but for some reason, with a nose.
Wait, what?
With a nose.
Had a nose?
Maybe they
printed an old mold and painted it.
They've got the model with the 10th planet, the original ones, and then the models. I'm not sure why. Then there's the robot from Tom Baker's first story, a friction drive canine, so you pull back and he'd go. No, I'm not right. You just push him along and he'd go along. And I want to. There was a myth out there that still exists with Tom Baker figure that people think that it was going to be it was a Gareth Hunt figure from the New Avengers, which didn't get made, so they used the same figure for Tom Baker. When Doctor Who magazine a few years ago did a special on toys, they interviewed people who worked with Dennis Fisher, and they said that wasn't true. You know, it was specially made Tom Baker figure. So they did a Tom Baker and Leela, as I said, and K9. Leela complete with a knife. Cyberman, giant robot, and the golden hail, whatever you want to call it. Not a golden hail, what do you call it? I can't think of the word now, my brain's tight. Anyway, whatever it is. The most rarest thing is a red top Dalek they did. Now, the red top Dalek never appeared in the series, except if you ever seen that publicity shot of Terry Nation with his Daleks, as a red top Dalek, a full-size one, of course, in his backyard, if you like, or in his entranceway, his driveway. It was kind of like a movie Dalek, but with a red top. And it was Dennis Fisher were the only people ever produced one. And it was at the time sort of the most accurate Dalek you could buy. Now that one is as rare as hell's teeth to get.
Oh, wow.
So they produce, although they used to produce board games and things like that. There's a few Doctor Who board games as well they produced. And that's Dennis Fisher for you.
Gotcha. Ian, I hate to say this, we are at the part of the show where we're coming up to the end. Where is a good place to let our audience know where they can find you? Definitely on YouTube. And we'll have the links provided below in this episode. Where else can they find you, Ian?
Twitter. Best place, Ian O. Time Lord.
Gotcha there.
And follow.
And follow. Oh, okay. There she is. She's already followed.
Follow.
Ellie took no time on that.
There's something else to say. Apart from you can also see me, as I said, on the Antiques Roadshow, Dr. Antiques Road from 93 on YouTube. You can look that up. And there's a phone-in, which I did in, I think, 1985, just before Attack of the Cybermen, on this kids' Saturday morning show with Colin Baker.
Aww.
Oh, that's amazing.
It's kind of weird hearing yourself at age about 15.
Nice. Hey, folks, we're just wrapping up, and I just want to remind everybody with our conventions that are coming up that are confirmed right now. Holiday Matsuri, located at the Marriott World Center in Orlando, Florida, December 13th through the 15th. We're still waiting confirmation as far as what panels we'll be doing, but we will be out there. And if you want to geek out and what's good about this, we're talking about toys. This will be around Christmas time. This is all your favorite geekdom in holiday garb. Like, my favorite was Superman and Supergirl dressed up with just a little Santa hat on, but just cute stuff like that. All your favorite geekdoms will be out there, including the Doctor in holiday garb. And I'm happy to announce that we just got the permission, just got word back. Concasterberus, we are locked in. We will be performing panels, doing interviews June 6th and 7th in Alabama at the Holiday Inn in Research Park. Get the ticket information now on their Facebook page or on their website, concasterberus.com. We'll be providing links and more information on the Legend of the Traveling Tardis Facebook page. That's it for everybody tonight. Thank you, Ian O. Time Lord, so much for all of your information and stuff. Thank you, Melanie and Mackenzie, who would just keep leaving in the background. Folks, that's it. Thank you for joining us over there. Please continue to stay logged on, stay tuned, and become part of the legend.